Srimathe Ramanujaya Namaha, Srimad Varavaramunaye Namaha, Srimad Lokarya Mahagurave Namaha. Seventh Pasuram of Thiruppavai starts with KIsukIsu Aanai Chattan Kalandu Pesina Pecharavam Kettilayo. In this Pasuram, Andal wakes up a Gopika who knows the Bhagavata Prabhavam, that is the glories of the Bhagavatas, the devotees, yet is engaged in Krishna's thoughts and is still sleeping. She doesn't have the mind to disturb those thoughts about Krishna and wake up yet. Now the question may arise, well, she's engaged in Krishna's thoughts, so why would we want to disturb her? Why can't she just continue those thoughts, isn't it? Well, the answer is that at any stage, in any circumstance, the Bhagavatas should be prioritized over Bhagavan himself. So in this case, Andal and her team of Gopikas, they have come to wake up this Gopika. So this Gopika who's lying down inside, they refer to her as Pepenne. That Gopika, they also refer to her as Nayaga Pen Pillai. She should prioritize Andal and her friends who have come all the way to her doorstep and should get up immediately and come. So continuing with the theme of the Sri Ramayana references in Thiruppavai, let's delve into this Pasuram. Andal starts the Pasuram with KIsukIsu Aanai Chattan Kalandu Pesina Pecharavam Kettilayo. So she refers to a set of birds that are referred to as Aanai Chattan. There have been a lot of research about what these Aanai Chattan birds refer to. There are two references that Adiyen could find. The first one is they are referred to as a kind of a sparrow, a kind of a grey sparrow, small in size. And these kind of sparrows, they are always together with their mate. And the second reference is given to that of a king crow. So regardless of what the actual bird is, this set of birds, they always are with their duo. They're always with their pair, and they make a noise. They wake up in the morning and then they talk to each other. The chirping of that, right? That signifies the onset of dawn. So now Andal here says, do you not hear the sound of these Aanai Chattan birds? They are talking to each other. The Gopika inside says, oh, so what? So what if the birds are chirping? She says, well, the sound of the birds chirping is an indication that it is dawn already. Now here there are references to Sri Ramayanam. References to Sri Ramayanam because has there been any precedent where the chirping of the birds is taken as a sign of dawn? The first one is a shlokam that starts with Nisvanam Chakravagana, and that features in the Ramayanam, Sri Ramayanam, in the Kishkinta Kantam, where Sri Rama says, Nisvanam Chakravakanam Nishamya Sahacharinam Pundarika Visalakshi Kathamesha Bhavishyati. So he realizes that it's dawn, and then he wonders, because he's separated from Sita at this point, so he wonders, oh, what is going on with Sita? When Sita also hears the chirping of these Chakravaha birds, they are called Bharadwaja birds, Aanai Chattan. So the sound of these birds, how will she bear it? Because they're always in a pair. So when she hears that, then my Sita, who has beautiful lotus-like eyes, what torture would she undergo? So Rama thinks about that, and his thoughts are drawn to Sita at the moment. That is a reference to the dawn and the Chakravaha birds, the Aanai Chattan birds. The second reference is also from Sri Ramayanam, and it is also spoken by Rama himself, but this time it is actually a little bit ahead of the separation. It happens in the Ayodhya Kantam, where they are all still in the forest. They are in the forest and they are about to go to Chitrakuta. At that time, that day, probably was a little bit lazy day and Lakshmana was a little bit asleep. So Rama wakes him up and Rama says, Saumitre Shrunuvanyanam Valgu Vyaharatam Swanam Sam Pratishthamahe Kala Prasthanasya Parantapa. He says, O Lakshmana, do you not hear the sound of all the birds chirping and of all the animals making their noise? O one who are so mighty and who can vanquish all the enemies, get up, it's time for us to leave to Chitrakuta. Leaving to Chitrakuta is implied here, but Rama wakes Lakshmana up and he uses the same indication of the birds chirping to indicate that dawn is already here. These are the first two references to Sri Ramayanam. And then the next one is actually a really, really beautiful reference. And this is happening towards the end of the Pasuram, where Andal talks to the Gopika. She says, Kalandu pesina pecharavam kettilayo penne kasum pirappum kalakalappa kaiperthu vasan arunguralaachiyar மத்தினால் ஓசைப்படுத்த தைரரவம் கேட்டிலையோ நாயக பெண் பிள்ளாய் நாராயணன் மூர்த்தி கேசவனை பாடவும் நீ கேட்டே கிடத்தியோ. So she says, we are singing the glories of Keshava, and listening to that, Kesavanai பாடவும் நீ கேட்டே கிடத்தியோ. You are listening and are you just lying down? Does it not emote any reaction in you? And at this juncture, our Acharyas have shown a very, very beautiful example from Sri Ramayanam. And this happens right after the killing of the two demons, Kara and Dushana, who are Shurpanaka's brothers. And unlike Ravana and Vibhishana, who were all the way in Lanka, these brothers Kara and Dushana, they are still in the mainland of Bharata. So Shurpanaka, after her nose is being cut off, she first goes to them to complain. And let's also connect this with the references that we've seen in the previous days, where we've seen that Sita Pirati says, "O Rama, you don't have to go and fight the Rakshasas." When the rishis of Dandakaranya, when they come and surrender to Sri Rama, showing their tortured bodies and ask for protection, and when they seek refuge, at that time Rama vows to protect them. And Sita, just to test his resolve, she says, "We don't have any enmity with the Rakshasas, so you should not need to go and fight." To which Rama says, "Oh Sita, I may give you up, I may give Lakshmana up, but I will never give up the promise of protection to anybody that surrendered to me, and especially these Brahmanas, these rishis who have surrendered to me." And we saw that reference in one of the previous passages. So let's just keep this context in mind here. So this context in mind, and the Rakshasas that the rishis are referring to are really the Kara and the Dushana's party of Rakshasas. That's who they are referring to here. Now, after Shurpanaka gets her nose cut off and she goes and complains to Kara and Dushana, they come to fight with Sri Rama. They come to fight with Sri Rama, and Rama just vanquishes them. He just vanquishes them and they are killed. And there are 14,000 Rakshasas, an army of 14,000 Rakshasas that were brought by Kara and Dushana. And Rama single-handedly fights all of them. When this battle is over, at that time, it just feels like there was Rama everywhere. People can only see Rama. They are seeing him, they are seeing all the Rakshasas fall. It feels like as though there are 1,000 Ramas. That's how it feels like. So that is the extent of the intensity of the war that Rama waged single-handedly and fought against all of these Rakshasas. Now these Rakshasas are killed. Now, what happens after these Rakshasas are killed? After these Rakshasas are killed, that's the first time Sita Pirati even witnesses the valor of Rama. Because until then, she had known that Rama is a mighty warrior because her father Janaka told him so. She had heard it from others. She's only seen his softer side. She's never been there when Rama fought a war. Because even when Rama killed Tataka and Subahu, even at that time, that was before their wedding. So Sita had never seen Rama's valor. Now she witnesses single-handedly all of Rama's bravery. So now she is unable to contain herself. She's unable to contain herself. And then she goes and just hugs Rama. She gives a tight hug to Rama. And the shlokam that is referenced here is Tam drishtva shatruhantaram maharshinam sukhavaham babhuva hrishta vaidehi bhartaram parishasvaje. This is a very popular shlokam, and the shlokam is referenced a lot by our Acharyas. The simple meaning of this pasuram is that Sita Pirati, she witnesses Rama, who has killed all the enemies and who brings a lot of joy to the Maharshis, Maharshinam Sukhavaham. And to such Rama, Vaidehi, the daughter of the Videha king Janaka, she goes in Bhartaram. Bhartaram is Sri Rama. Bhartaram Parishasvaje, she goes and hugs him nicely. Now, this is the first time that she has seen this. So prior to this, she has, like I said, only heard about it. And she was married to Rama because Rama broke the Shiva Dhanush, the bow of Shiva, and her father got her married. Well, she is from a clan of Janaka, so she knows that she knows how important being brave is, being a warrior is, and all of that. But prior to this, she may have hugged Rama only because he is her groom, he is her husband. But this is the first time she witnesses that, and because of that, she is so happy. Now, the next reason that's mentioned here, which is the nuanced and the more interesting reason, is that, see, it says that she's very happy to see Sri Rama like that, right? And that's because she is the Jagat Mata. She is the mother of the entire world. And the rishis who came and sought refuge at Rama's holy feet, right? They are like the children. So when the father protects the child, then the mother gets so happy, right? So similarly, Sri Sita Pirati, she gets so happy when she sees the valor that Rama showed, and when she witnesses the protection that Rama reinforces for the kings. Now, let's go back to the context that I set at the beginning of this example, where she originally did not want Rama to fight with any of these enemies, or at least that's what she said, so she can test his resolve. Now, that same Sita Devi, she is extremely happy to see the might of her husband, Sri Rama, and once the war is done, she goes and gives him a hug. So this reference is mentioned here because the pasuram goes, Kesavanai padavum ni kette kidattiyo. So are you lying down? The Keshava, who is the vanquisher of the demon Kesi, when that has happened, shouldn't we just go? Andal asks this question to the Gopika who's lying inside. Shouldn't we go? And just like how Sita Devi was so overjoyed, shouldn't we go and wouldn't we want to go and hug Krishna because he is the slayer of the demon Keshi? So when we are singing his glories, instead of doing that, what makes you just lie down inside? So get up, wake up, and come with us is Andal's invitation to the Gopika who is sleeping inside. So let us continue to meditate on Sri Rama and Sri Sita, Sri Krishna and Sri Andal, and spend the rest of our days. Andal Tiruvadigalai